Recently I've been discovering that there's some amazing Pinot Noirs coming out of England. Until recently I didn't realise how good the Pinot Noirs were in England, so I'm going to show you some real bangers today. It's a little bit light, it's not a big heavy hitter of a wine, but what it does have is the ability to communicate the place where the grapes were grown in the glass. Some of the most expensive wines in the world are made out of Pinot Noir, and you'll find those in Burgundy. But it's not just Burgundy, it's California, Oregon, Australia, Chile, there's some in Germany, there's some in South Africa, like everywhere you go there's Pinot Noir. So it's about the subtleties, it's about the savoury, the organic flavours, the finesse, the balance, trying to figure out what type of soil it was, what the weather was doing, all that sort of stuff. And that's why I think it's one of the greatest grape varieties. It's not an easy grape to grow. You can't grow it in really hot conditions because it'll get too ripe too quickly. It tends to grow really well in the cooler climates. That's when you're going to get the most complexity and the best flavours. And here in England, we're right on the limit of where you can get Pinot Noir to ripen. I'm going to show you some absolute gems that I've discovered recently. Honestly, these wines really surprised me. So the first wine I've got to show you is from Davenport. This has always been one of my favourite Pinot Noirs from England. So they're based in East Sussex, but the vineyard for this one is in Kent. It's called the Diamond Fields. South face and organically farmed. Woo! Davenport, man. The aromas are jumping out the glass. The fruit on it's really transparent, silky tannins. It doesn't feel like it's too tart. It's just a beautiful wine. I've just served it with a little bit of a chill on it. It's really hard not to love this wine. So glassware. This is a Pinot Noir specific glass. It's got a really nice wide bowl and it allows all them delicate aromas to spin round and focuses them all on this top bit. There's no need to decant Pinot Noirs. It's quite a delicate wine. It doesn't need a big decant, just needs a bit of swirling. So the next Pinot Noir I've got is this from Offbeat Wines. A guy called Daniel Ham. He makes wines near Salisbury, you know where that Novichok poisoning was, next to Stonehenge. The grapes for this wine actually came from Essex, so it's mostly Pinot Noir with a little bit of Pinot Blanc, which is a white grape. So you'll see the colour is very light and it's unfiltered. I think the Davenport was unfiltered as well. It's got a bit of a wild nose, this one. It almost reminds us of beer or hops or something like that. Beautiful raspberry fruit, absolutely delicious though. Super clean, transparent fruit, silky, juicy. This is the sort of wine that you probably want to give a little bit of a chill, probably watch Netflix, just neck the whole bottle on a weekday or something like that. Really smashable wine, that. So the last wine I got is from a winery called Balfa. It's in the Heath estate in Kent. And this Pinot Noir, straight away, it's a darker colour. It's got plums and strawberries and cranberries, and then it's got all of this sort of forest floor as well. Very serious nose. It's got a little bit of oak, which just frames it really nicely, just lets the fruit sing, but it's got this lovely kiss of oak. It's got weight and texture. Wow, really impressive. How did they get such ripeness? So I was speaking to the winemaker, right, and do you know what the secret is? We got loads of Pinot Noir grapes in England, but a lot of them are just used to make sparkling wine. And the types of Pinot Noir clones that you use for sparkling wine are different to the ones that you want to use to make these serious still wines. And it's all down to how big the berries are. So if you're growing bunches of grapes that are really big and plump, they might be good for sparkling wine because you've got lots of juice there. But for a still wine like this, where you want serious extraction, colour and tannins, you want small berries so that you've got that ratio of skins to juice. What's really interesting about all of these wines is they're not out of balance, they're not tart. They haven't got that typical English acidity that gets right up in your cheeks and it's just a bit too much. These are all in balance. They've somehow managed to get ripeness. Maybe that's down to the sites, maybe it's down to the careful winemaking or the types of Pinot Noir clones that they've chosen. I think we're just getting better at making Pinot Noir. So keep your eye out for Pinot Noir in England because there is some real showstoppers out there and people are starting to discover the magic of English Pinot Noir. The guys at Balfa have even made a rosé out of Pinot Noir. This is actually a really serious rosé and the grapes were probably quite ripe. That was a really big surprise, that we're making Pinot Noir rosé because we want to make great rosé, not just because we've got some grapes that didn't quite reach ripeness. That is class. So it's an exciting time for English wine.